Ironside will not be seen tonight, so we may bring you the following special program.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
Connecticut's #1 Comic Con is back! Apple Hagon Meet actors from TV, movies, anime, comic book creators too! Shop for comics, toys, and more! Dress up as a hero, Terrificon! August 8th through the 10th at Mohegan Sun. Tickets on sale now at Terrificon.com.
Kingdom Come is 4 separate issues, 48 pages apiece. It was an all-immersive kind of lifestyle for me.
It blew people away. I mean, this was the most sought-after book there was.
This was something very new, very different.
No one had seen anything like that at that scale before.
It was amazing.
I never thought from anything that people would still be talking about this book 25 years later.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Welcome back, everybody. Time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. Man, I'm so glad people were interested in hearing my thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps because, first of all, this is a spoiler-free interview. I want to assure you of that. I will be talking about the performances in general, the film in general. But don't worry if you haven't seen it yet, because I realize it just opened. I saw it Thursday, knowing that I would be talking about it. I had a couple spots on Milwaukee radio where I was talking about it, even though I'm here in Chicago. And also, I figured that Mitch Halleck and I, Mitch of Terrificon, will be talking about it Sunday night, along with our review of the third episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. But, man, the Peanut Gallery is already filling up. There's Ken Dog. Good evening, Ken Dog. Thank you for joining us today. Matthew Whitaker as well. Good to see you. And here's a newbie, Comic Bricks, who says, hello, I found your channel since you were on Midnight Metal with Rob Meyer Burnett. Love the channel. Thank you, man. My good friend Rob and I and Dave Parker and several others all had a big, long marathon talk about a lot of different subjects, and it was great. We talked about Superman, but we also ended up talking about a lot of other things, and that's great. And I have gotten some new subscribers through that conversation, so welcome, everybody. Thank you so much, truly. And, let's get into it. Fantastic Four First Family. Off the bat, I just want to tell you, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Very, very much so. And the reason why is they seem to be slowly and positively moving away from some of the complaints that the extreme right has with Marvel. Listen, I'm a liberal. I'm a classic liberal. But I do think there's been an overemphasis to really emphasize a lot of women and almost at the expense of other male characters. Not the case in First Steps. Listen, first of all, absolute blue ribbon gold medal to Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. She was amazing. She is the right tone for Sue Storm. She is the leader of the group. Fine. That is what I heard. A lot of what you heard in the pre-hype before seeing the movie, don't believe it. Because really, a lot of the haters and the YouTube haters in particular are like, wow, it's too woke. and it's and Sue's going to be the leader. Well, Reed's the leader. Well, it seemed to me in this movie they were co-leaders, and really Reed had plenty to do, and I'll get to Pedro Pascal in a second. But Vanessa Kirby, man, she had a lot that she had to do, and she proved once again, because if you're a Fantastic Four fan, Sue is the rock. Sue is the foundation everybody can lean on. Yes, Reed is the smartest man in the room. That hasn't changed. But when it comes to personal relationships, I think Sue is a very important part of that. And I thought she was terrific. Hey, ChemDog says I had fun. And Comic Brick says, I have to say, it was fantastic, unironically. Hey, man. I know I said the same thing on Milwaukee radio. I'm like, it was fantastic. No pun intended. But yeah, she was great. And without spoiling, you might know some details, but I'll keep it oblique. She had a lot to do in the movie, a lot of personal things. She pulled it off fantastic. The dramatic scenes are great. The humorous scenes are great. The family scenes are great. I kept calling the movie Fantastic Four First Family instead of First Steps because I knew how important that was. And they delivered. It is the most domestic Marvel film I think we've ever gotten. We got a lot of Tony Stark, in Stark Industries, and him and Pepper and him and Happy and things like that. But, the Fantastic Four, they are a nuclear family. They are 4 members of this family, and you bought it. You really, really bought it, and you really bought their home life. Also, I really appreciated the world that they surrounded the Fantastic Four in. You've seen the trailers. It is that combination of a 1960s aesthetic with the world of tomorrow, as we were promised as kids. I was 5 years old when I first went to Disneyland back in 1970, and I went to Tomorrow World. And man, I'm telling you, we had moving sidewalks and flying cars and jetpacks and everything. I really thought, but I was just telling Jerry Ordway this last night on Word Balloon that I really thought we'd all have jetpacks by the time I was my current age. Well, we don't have, we got the smart computers that we can fit in our pocket, but unfortunately not the jetpacks. That said, the flying cars, the Fantastic Car looks amazing. All the vehicles in the movie look amazing, but that 60s aesthetic, it's really great, and it really, really works. And this Earth is an interesting, very positive, hopeful world, and the Fantastic Four, they're rock stars in it. So Comic Brick says, I have to get going, but I'm just so happy there's a Fantastic Four movie we can all get behind. I completely agree, Bricks, and thank you again for jumping in and saying hello. But yeah, I thought it was great. I really did, and I bought this world. And it's a great combination of a weirdly futuristic world, but at the same time, it's a very recognizable New York. It's a very recognizable Times Square with some added things because, again, we're in a different world. But I loved it. Okay, Pedro Pascal. I will admit, I was one of those guys that are like, I don't know. And again, I love Pedro Pascal. He's an excellent actor. I think he's done amazing work in everything, even the crappy movies like Wonder Woman 84. Can't pin that on Pedro Pascal. Of course, he's great as the Mandalorian. All the other things that I've ever seen him in. He's always great. I bought him. I bought him as Reed. I thought he was great. He did a great job. And he's the face leader in a lot of ways in this movie. So again, oh no, it's woke. It's woke. No, it isn't. Sorry. Wrong. It was amazing. And I got to get everybody else's names right. First of all, I want to say Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Again, all the worry warts. Well, I hear they're toning Johnny down and he's not going to be the horn dog. And the guy going after girls like he's been in the comics and in the Chris Evans FF movies. Wrong. He's Johnny. He's very much credibly Johnny. There you go. So I thought that was great. And he was amazing. Richard asks, Alex Ross said Pedro was a bad choice. Do you know if he's changed his mind? I haven't, but Alex and I both agreed that we will do a follow-up conversation in August to review the Thor movie, and I'm looking forward to his thoughts. And listen, I even good friends like Alex might still have little quibbles and everything, but I thought Pedro did a great, credible job, and it's kind of like Cesar Romero with the mustache being the Joker. Maybe he did. Maybe that's why Pedro didn't want to shave it off, and I might have accepted a little bit more. But no, man, as far as persona, felt like Reed Richards to me. Felt like the leader. Felt like the smartest guy in the room. Some people, because there are moments where he shows that he has doubts. I think when you get down to it, and there's a lot of stories where even though Reed's the smartest guy in the room, he has doubts. That's okay. That's all right. And he still comes through. He's still Reed Richards and everything. But yeah, like I said, I really thought Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm was great. And then I want to read this right. Eben Moss Bacharach as Ben Grimm. I liked him a lot. He was a very warm feeling thing. Some people, again, because of the cartoons, and my God, even the Thing Ring Do Your Thing terrible cartoon, the solo cartoon with Benji Grimm. Give me a break. Great stuff. He was great. He's a softer spoken Ben Grimm. That's okay. I still bought it. I bought all of it, man. There's that. Chemdog says regarding Pedro's mustache, it's not like the comic book Reed hasn't had facial hair before. Absolutely. In the Galactus saga, we saw Reed up all night and having 5 o'clock shadow. I also like Ben Grimm's little minor spoiler, because again, it is kind of out there. The Thing is a beard. He shouldn't have a beard. I literally just happened as I was glancing over FF Comics, one where Ben grows a rocky beard, kind of the way they did it in the movie. Fine. Who cares? It's fine. So that's ridiculous. But again, what are you going to say to people? Stanley wants to know, did I dislike the Silver Surfer? Another point of contention with me before the movie started, because it's like, did you have to swap her gender? It worked fine for me. It really did work fine for me. Julia Garner is a great actress, and I thought she was terrific as the Surfer in this. And it's fine. And also, this is an alternate Earth. So despite the fact that we got a different, not Norrin Radd, and we got Shalla-Bal as the Surfer, I'm kind of looking at it like a what if comic book. What if Shalla-Bal was Galactus's herald? I don't, Chet, tell me, was Shalla-Bal ever the herald in What If? I know she was in Alex Ross and Jim Kruger's Earth X, so I am aware of that. And in fact, Alex and I discussed it the last time he was on. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Richard says Pascal's facial hair reminded him of John Hickman's Reed, a lot of anger. In fact, John Hickman will be at Terrificon, and I'm sure that his and C.B. Cebulski and the others' thoughts will be there. I liked it. And he also said that Reed had a lot of angst as well. Hickman's run on FF is clearly in the DNA of this movie. Chemdog also says Pedro had a great read on Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, I think so, man. I really do. And that was a big relief. And also the Thing's beard was in the trailer. Okay, well, then I don't feel bad. But yeah, it's so funny. Again, some of these like usual suspect haters. Oh, we had, the Thing in the comics, it's clobbering time. Here it's, oh, that's a great sauce. Yeah, so? I mean, my God, grasping at straws. Honestly, same thing with the Superman movie. These haters, it's like, I get it. I don't get the numbers, whether audio or video, that these haters do, because hate sells. Well, I'd rather give you my honest opinion. And I have, when I've been disappointed in movies. I will point to Captain America's Brave New World as a classic example of big letdown. Not the case with Fantastic Four's First Steps. This is an excellent movie. And thank God, I know Thunderbolts didn't do as well at the box office as your typical Marvel movie. Listen, they have a lot of splaining to do, Lucy, in the words of Ricky Ricardo on I Love Lucy. And they listen, they need to win back fans. I really think this is a great movie, and the timing is great, because after the feel-good universal love of Superman, with very minor few jerks that didn't like it, and forgive me if you didn't like it, I don't mean to crap on you. I'm talking about the public ones that are really, whatever, they think it sucked. But this, I really think a lot of families are like, well, hey, kids, you want to see Fantastic Four? Here's another comic book movie, and I think the good news is, here's the family. They delivered. And Herbie was great. Look at little Herbie right there. I really loved Herbie. I kind of, again, you'll forgive me, everybody, but I'm old enough to remember when, hey, guess what? New Saturday morning cartoon, Fantastic Four. Really? Who, well, yeah, it's going to be Ben and Reed and Sue and Herbie. It's like, well, where's Johnny? Well, Human Torch. This is in the era where unfortunately parent groups really dumbed down cartoons and we're all about, well, we certainly don't want anybody setting themselves on fire. Well, of course not. None of us do. Relax. My God. Thank God for the 60s cartoon. And thank God for the 90s cartoon. But yeah, that first cartoon and everything. Well, redemption for Herbie. I am proud to say it worked out. And he was great in the movie. And the right amount of Herbie as well. So I really, really enjoyed it. So we mentioned Julie Garner as Shalabar, Silver Surfer. Ralph Ineson as Galactus. The scale was great. His voice was great. My buddy Blaine, I want you to read his comments. He said he loved it. They put the family dynamic first and kept Reed's guilt. That was Blaine's favorite element of Mark Waid's run. He said, my biggest complaint is that Galactus had circular irises instead of square. It's a good movie. And I would agree. That's a very, very minor quibble, and it's kind of consistent with my buddy Blaine. But that said, I thought it was great. He also said in the special look on Disney Plus, they have the cameos of the Roger Corman FF movie cast as people in the street. And that was really neat. I thought that was terrific, and I'm really glad that they did that. And what a nice gesture to those actors to include them in the movie. Even that, it kind of reminded me of the unfortunate Tim Burton Dark Shadows reboot that had Jonathan Frid and the original Dark Shadows people as in a cameo where they were going to a party that Barnabas was throwing. But no, I really thought, again, that was great. And again, if that is the biggest complaint that you had, then good news. It's still a good movie. ChemDog agrees. Perfect Galactus. And also says some people just love to be miserable. I agree with that. Stanley says, was hoping this would set up Avengers Doomsday. I think, again, Stanley, I don't know if you saw the movie, but I'm actually glad this movie was its own thing. That said, there is a little bit at the end. It's one of the special scenes. You might have read about it already that I think does set it up. I am also relieved, and I have to stress this, my fear of the scene we got in Thunderbolts after, the post-credit scene where we saw a rocket ship and it had the FF logo on it. I'm like, is this kind of tipping the outcome of First Steps? No. The good news is, I think as far as a history timeline, not a film release timeline, Fantastic Four First Steps happens before the events of Thunderbolts. And so you don't have to worry if that movie affects the outcome. And in fact, James, I think, agrees because he says, without spoilers, I thought this movie was going to end much differently. So did I, James. Yeah. And again, it really worried me because we got to wait a year for Doomsday. So I don't know, and again, I was okay with what they gave us, but it does make it interesting of what we're going to get in Doomsday beyond an Avengers Doctor Doom thing. And they've already announced that Reed Richards is going to play a big part in Avengers Doomsday. Okay. I hope the rest are there as well. Or at the very least in Secret Wars. I certainly hope so. That's the thing with these movies. I've been saying this about Superman as well. Are we going to have to wait 5 years for the next Fantastic Four movie, or 3 or 4 years? I mean, we know that Disney is pulling back and we're only getting a couple movies a month or a year, rightfully so. And I don't want overkill because we saw what happened with overkill. We got a lot of crap, both on the TV side and the film side. We don't need that. Disney doesn't need it. Fans don't need it because, again, I really think it kind of kept a lot of general fans because, like, well, I've been burned by several Marvel films and television shows in a row. I'm kind of falling out of love with the MCU. The mojo that they had working for 10 years and those, was it 18 movies? I forget the actual count between the first Iron Man movie and Endgame. was an amazing, hitting streak. And you can't deny that, even with the slight missteps. And I really felt they were slight. Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World. Those are the two that always come to mind initially. I like the first Hulk. Well, I should say I liked both the Eric Bana Hulk movie, but I liked the Ed Norton second Hulk movie as well. So, here James says, with how Marvel's has been with paying off teases and continuing storylines, it wouldn't surprise me if the next Fantastic Four movie is in 5 years. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. There are other minor characters. Mark Gatiss is one of my favorite British actors. He played Mycroft in the fantastic Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman Sherlock show, and he was Holmes's very smart brother. He is the kind of Johnny Carson entertainment host that introduces the four. Again, he's in the trailers, so I don't feel bad about mentioning him. But he's great and a fantastic kind of role. And much like Superman, they're able to circumvent the need for an origin story and just kind of, and that's what Gatiss does. You all know the story. These fine, brave astronauts went off into space and something happened. That's all you need. That's all you need. In fact, my buddy Sandy Max, who hosts that Milwaukee radio show that I was on Thursday, is like, can I walk in without having this deep Marvel knowledge? I think so. I really think this movie gives you enough at the beginning to really understand what's the basic dynamic of the family. You understand who these characters are, and you're dumped right into the action. Great. I loved the callbacks to some other key villains that are in the movie. Again, I will keep it spoiler free, but two very prominent early FF villains are part of the story, and I think it worked great. ChemDog reminds us that Mark Gatiss, of course, wrote and starred in many Doctor Who stories. Absolutely true. And he's a fantastic writer, actor, producer, and I'm a big fan of anything that Mark Gatiss does. So James says, I wish we got more of the Thing's love interest. Yes and no. I agree. And it's interesting, the choices they made. They are not obvious comic book choices, keeping it, again, oblique for people who haven't seen it yet. But I liked what we got. And there wasn't time. I mean, this movie books as well. I think the pacing is great. And we get a lot of great action. The stuff that happens in space looks like a good science fiction movie should look. This is the thing. They are figuring things out. Stanley asks, was this the best Fantastic Four movie? I certainly think so. Apologies to Josh Trank, who I loved in Chronicle, but I think really stubbed his toe with that weird Fantastic Four movie. Fant4stick, as Art and Franco and I have been calling it ever since it came out with that weird logo. And I like the Tim Story movies. The Tim Story movies were good. And especially given when they were made and when Fox still had all the Marvel characters that they had, I had no problem with them. And I really liked the second Silver Surfer movie where Doug Jones and Lawrence Fishburne technically played the Surfer. But we got a crappy Galactus. We got that Cloud Galactus. Crap. This time, Galactus is there. I mean, you all saw the giant foot kind of traipsing around New York. It has that great Godzilla feeling in the best way. Plus, I think Galactus is at least the size of about 50 Godzillas or maybe 20 Godzillas. So that was cool. ChemDog says it's not overly long. I agree with that. And James says it too. James says, I was surprised to see that it was only an hour 55. The movie would benefit from being longer. I disagree. I respectfully disagree. I think a lot of recent superhero films have been bloated. And that's why I love Superman. Get to the action. Let's go. Again, I kind of hear what you're saying, James, because I felt that way about Superman, that I would have liked a few more Daily Planet scenes. But beyond that, no, I'm sorry. And I would say, I honestly don't know what more they could have given us, given where the story went. I suppose, and all right, minor spoiler. You might have already read John Malkovich was supposed to be in the movie as one of the key villains. That is a very interesting villain choice, but it is in the early FF stuff. He's not there, but his team is there. I'll let people decide what that means when they see the movie or the people in the know. But yeah, Chem Dog, of course, remembers that Julian McMahon was terrific and yeah, sadly we lost Julian McMahon. Sad irony that this great Dr. Doom, and he was, I thought he was a damn good Dr. Doom, but sadly didn't make it and is no longer with us, and that's a damn shame. It really, really is. Stanley says he's very happy that they finally paid tribute to Kirby, rightfully so. Again, if you know your comic book DNA, you can really the ancestors of the Fantastic Four are DC's challengers of the unknown, especially in those early FF stories when they really were much more plainclothes. They didn't even have, the blue shirts with the fours on them and stuff when they first started. They really were just this adventure team that something weird happened to them and they were out hunting monsters. Good. And we get that vibe even with them in the uniforms we're used to and stuff. So, but yeah, I agree with you in terms of paying tribute to Kirby, very much so, beyond the co-creator credits that he so deserves. The movie also ends with a really nice Jack Kirby quote. And as far as the end credits go, they're fun, and I would stay with them. And there is one little thing that is key to the next chapter and everything, but it's small. So if you want to get the hell out, get the hell out. But if not, stay for the post-scene credits. They're fun. Scoot's watching. Scott McMahon, ladies and gentlemen, from the Oh Yeah podcast, and a fantastic comic book artist and writer in his own right. He liked Bearded Thing. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Scoot. I did too. Again, I really thought Eben's full portrayal was fantastic. Matt Garcia, interesting comment. He said, I was hoping the Watcher would appear, considering in the trailer there appears to be fire in the sky when the Silver Surfer first arrives. Yeah, okay. My suspicion, given the what's coming in Doomsday, but more importantly, Secret Wars, if there's going to be a live-action Watcher appearance, that is my assumption of where we'll get it. So, James says, oh, that's funny. James says, I heard a few people in my audience after the second post-credit scene whisper, that was it? Well, the second post-credit scene is really just a throwaway. It is totally throwaway. So, and honestly, even the first post-credit scene, not necessary, but fine, whatever. Again, it is an interesting tease. But I love how ingrained the Fantastic Four are in this society. And I mean, you've seen the trailers. Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you, Fantastic Four. Yeah. Again, these people love them. They are the rock stars of God. I forget the number. It's like 858. I forget the number of what Earth this Earth is in the Marvel multiverse. So, and also, that's nice. Ken Dog says there was some applause at his theater when it was done. What was interesting? The way they front load these movies, and I'm sure you're seeing it in your towns too. But I was at an 18 screen place, and 5 of the screens were Fantastic Four, not including the 4XD, which I will never do again. I did that for The Flash. It's a horror story. I don't want to get into it again. Too traumatizing. But also IMAX. I saw it in a standard theater, and I really, really enjoyed it. Matt, thank you. Matt says it's 828, Earth 828. But I didn't hear applause when it was over in my theater. I did at Superman. But again, and also my point bringing up how many theaters were showing it, I think there were maybe 25 people. I saw it Thursday afternoon at 3:00 in the afternoon, but it is summer. So I kind of expected some more young people at least to be there, kids or whatever. But they weren't. And again, I don't know what I don't know what kind of box office it's going to get. I heard good things. I'm hearing good things. But regardless, I just want a quality movie. And it might take people discovering these movies on streaming to get excited for Doomsday next year. But we'll see. I got to be honest, I was underwhelmed by Ironheart. I thought it was cool that Mephisto is in there, and especially the casting of Mephisto. So, that's great. Scoot says in Toledo, hey, the Friday 7 p.m. Showing was sold out. Awesome. That hey is, of course, a Jamie Farr reference. If you aren't familiar with our Oh Yeah podcasts, if you aren't, you should check them out because it's Scoot, myself, Art, and Franco were very, very funny. There you go. James wants to know how I would rank the 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe releases this year from best to worst. Oh, that's easy. That is really, really easy. I think First Family is number 1, slightly edging out Thunderbolts. I thought Thunderbolts was great. I really, really thought Thunderbolts was great. But I really think, unfortunately, because it was filled with characters nobody knows, unless you're really, really into the MCU and further the TV shows and comic books. Hey, look, Red Guardian's there. All right. I mean, it's David Harbour. Don't give me Florence Pugh. I adore and was amazing in this movie. And truly, I kind of think Vanessa just slightly edged out Florence Pugh in FF rather than Thunderbolts. But, other than Sebastian Stan, who thank God has been a fixture, he's been great. You'll notice I haven't said much about Brave New World, Captain America. Big letdown on so many fronts. Red Hulk. Hey, look, Red Hulk's going to be in the movie. Red Hulk's going to be, yeah, for 5 minutes, maybe. And at the very end, maybe. Man, that got me angry. My hope is that in either Avengers, Doomsday, or Secret War, we're going to have a whole mess of Hulks. I'm hoping that Ruffalo is back as Green Hulk. Harrison Ford is in there as Red Hulk. And yes, Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. I want 3 Hulks on screen beating the hell out of whoever they got to fight in Secret Wars. That is my hope. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. But yeah, man, really, First Family and Thunderbolts are so head and shoulders above Captain America: Brave New World. And what a letdown. And much in the same way, sorry, everybody, I'm going to mention Star Trek because I can't help it. But much in the same way, the producers of Star Trek really did a disservice to Michelle Yeoh in that Section 31 movie. Anthony Mackie is a wonderful actor. Sam Wilson is a wonderful character. Both got let down dramatically by Brave New World. It just wasn't good. I'm looking forward to talking to Carl Lumley at the Terrificon convention coming up August 8th through the 10th, because I really felt that he, as I'm blanking now, the Isaiah Bradley, the great first Captain America, really got a disservice in it and stuff. So Richard says, I hope we're going to see Florence Pugh in the future. The opening scene of her jumping off the building has stuck with me. Yeah, man. Oh, no, she was great. She was wonderful. And really, watching her character trajectory through the Black Widow film, her great scenes in the Hawkeye TV show, Kate Bishop. I love Kate Bishop. Hilarious. Fantastic. And, man, I don't blame her. She's gone through a lot of crap. And truly, her character arc in Thunderbolts was terrific. I loved the movie. The only reason why I give First Steps a bit of an edge is I keep thinking, much like the Superman movie, the generational appeal. And given that it's been 20 years since those first FF movies that Fox did, so you got parents that maybe are going to bring their kids that are part of the real mainstream, not the comic book mainstream, the real mainstream, that they would likely bring their kids and go, hey, these are fun and the trailers look fun, let's go. Plus you got old jerks like me that have been reading this stuff since the 70s and even the reprint stuff since the 60s. So I really think, and again, you got Herbie the Robot. You love Herbie. Come on. And the Thing looks cool and fun. And Johnny looks cool. Even Reed, they did a great job with Reed as Mr. Fantastic and stretching around and everything. I thought that was great. James says that regarding Ironheart, he's convinced that Mephisto's introduction is an elaborate Borat prank. Yes, I like Mephisto. He's a Mephisto. So Stanley asks if I'm excited for Terrificon. Are you kidding? Of course I am, man. We're going to do great. Honestly, Mitch always puts on a good show. I do my best when I moderate panels, and I've got several panels. You're gonna hear a lot of panels on Word Balloon coming up, believe me. And also, that's why I've been having the guests that I've been having on lately. Jerry Ordway yesterday. I recorded a great conversation with Al Milgram this afternoon. I'm going to be bringing you that, and a whole lot more before Terrificon starts. So believe me, I'm very, very excited for Terrificon. Scoot says, I thought the movie would end with Franklin taking his first steps. Yes, Franklin is in the movie. And that's fair. And I don't mind. Again, he's in a lot of the trailers now, so you know. Franklin was great. Franklin was terrific, both as a plot point and what they had Franklin do without going into detail. No, I thought that was great. And especially given what we've learned about Franklin, both watching him in the comics as an older child and even his potential futures, like what Alex Ross and Jim Kruger cooked up in Earth X, those books. Franklin is a very important character and was treated as such. And I thought it was all really, really good. Pete Beiser, good to see you, Pete, says Mo Man stole the show. I wouldn't go that far, but Mo Man was fun. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. I thought he was great. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really up and down, everybody. And also, you know, my big concern with these superhero movies is, what are you giving us in Act 3? What are you giving us in those final scenes? I liked it. It was kind of predictable given the trailers of what was going to happen. But I really felt the solutions were very much within the power structure of the team. And this team dynamic, they work together. They are a unit. It is Ben's doing this, Johnny's doing that, Reed's doing this, Sue's doing that, and it all works and it all makes sense. And all I will say without spoiling is there is a reason why many of us in the know that Sue Storm is one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe, as she should be given her powers. And I'm very glad that she is given the agency in this film to be as cool as she is. Now, Scoot is a big guy that pays attention to the musical scores, and he says it was excellent and memorable, if you say so. Oh, that's funny. James says the CGI on Franklin was a little unnerving, but I liked how he factored into the Force dynamic. Yeah, again. No, I love the kids. I'm a big Valeria fan, too. I don't know if they're going to introduce her in Doomsday or something else because, well, you'll see. And years progress. I'll leave it at that. But no, I really liked it. And again, I like where this movie is. And all my fears about what I got from that bonus scene in Thunderbolts were, thank God. It's like, no, that has no impact on this movie. I can't stress it enough. So that's really important. Any final thoughts, everybody? Because I'm ready to wrap up. There really wasn't much else that I wanted to say without spoiling. Mitch and I may spoil tomorrow night if he wants to. I always kind of give the co-host or the guest that option. That's what I did with Dan Jurgens with Superman. And he's like, yeah, it's too early. He goes, people, not everyone's seen it yet. And it was the Monday after the opening weekend. I'm curious to see what the box office looks like for both Superman as it continues. And hopefully I think it will reach at least that 500 million plateau. I hope a little bit more. But I also think, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves with these studios, well, we really want this thing to make $1 billion. Well, that's adorable. But let's be realistic. And also, folks, we're still paying for those strikes and COVID. Like it or not, that's just, and I'm sure you all feel the same way. And the audience, again, was getting comfortable watching big movies at home because big screen TVs keep getting cheaper and having a home theater keeps getting cheaper. So it is hard to coax people into the movie theaters. The good news is you just got to give us good product and hopefully people will come, Ray, as they say in Field of Dreams. And I think this is a great movie where people will come. James says, I thought Thunderbolts was a tad better, but I was really happy how First Steps came out. Superman blows the pair out of the water. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I do think of the three, Superman is the more superior movie. And again, there's already that universal buy-in of, well, we all know Superman. So, I do think people were curious about, all right, well, let's see what they do this time, as opposed to the Snyder movie, as opposed to the Bryan Singer movie. So, yeah, I just think Superman has this built-in knowledge advantage of both. And even as, again, having those Tim Story Fantastic Four movies and everything can't compare to the just ingrained knowledge of Superman. I mean, your great-grandmother knew who Superman was, trust me. Matthew says it was great to know that FF was a good movie. I was waiting to go see it after I heard the reviews. Yeah, and again, I am relieved because I truly think that most of the critics agree. The haters are going to hate. Haters are going to hate, as they say, and they're absolutely right. And some people to ridiculous extremes. I saw a guy on Instagram going, well, yeah, Superman bombed at the box office. Really? How so? Well, even though it made more money than Man of Steel, technically, it's a pricier economy, so you have to adjust to where the economy was back in 2013. F you, you douche. Give me a break. Listen, we're in a different world, not only economically, but again, I'm sorry, folks, the COVID and those strikes really pissed off a lot of people and kept people away. And it's like, I don't need to see a movie in the theater. Sorry. You've already given us way too much for too fast streaming. I wonder how many months it'll be before Disney puts first steps on the streamer. And I also wonder what kind of gestation period we're going to get in the theaters. Tron Ares is knocking on the door. I don't think, not till October, I believe. I saw that Jeff Bridges was at Comic-Con. Man, what a big relief, because when they postponed, or I guess they really ended the Old Man series that he was doing on FX, I was really scared for Jeff's health. He made Ares. He looks good. I hope he's in remission. I know he's had some stomach cancer issues, but here's hoping for the best. Stanley wants to know, am I surprised DC and Marvel aren't at San Diego Comic-Con? Well, they're not in Hall H. Marvel obviously still has their slate of comics and are making big announcements all weekend. DC TV may not be in Hall H, but Peacemaker is very well represented at Comic-Con, and I think that's great. I really, really think that's great. So, but no, I'm not surprised. So let's not forget that D23 happens in a month or so, the big all-encompassing Disney thing. And I'm sure Marvel TV and films will be there. We have Wonder Man coming out at the end of the year. I'm excited to talk to Al Milgrom about Wonder Man, because when he was doing West Coast Avengers, he wrote a lot of Wonder Man stuff. So let's see, what else? Atomic Hound, welcome. After seeing Superman, I immediately knew I wanted to see it again in the theaters. FF is wonderful as well, but I'm not sure I'm going to rush to see this at the Cineplex again. Okay. I'll be honest. I agree with you about Superman, but people said, "Are you going to see it again?" I'm like, no, that's okay. That's all right. I'll wait for it to stream or be on HBO or both. And I know it well enough. I don't need to see it again. And that feeling, again, I think as we get older goes away, but also because of cable and streaming and how quickly that stuff pops on. I mean, my God, Sinners was already on regular HBO. Wow. That was fast. We used to have to wait, a year before that stuff was even on cable. Couple years in the golden days of when I had completely black hair. You like my Reed Richards sideburn temples? So okay. Atomic Count says, having said that, if you're on the fence about going to see FF, go. I completely agree, dude. Scoot says, thanks for the review. I liked it. Now I'm going to go off to watch South Park. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Quick pop culture tangent. South Park got re-upped by Paramount for $1.5 billion to be the exclusive home of South Park for the next 5 years. And the current administration has its issues with CBS and Paramount, and even to the point of Colbert getting axed next May. South Park, if you don't know, man, they pull no punches. And it was excellent. It was a fantastic new episode. I can't wait for the rest of the season. And they are nimble enough that they can make adjustments on shows. So if they want to do more to pick on the straw men that they are picking on, plenty of time to make adjustments and go even further. I thought it was fantastic. B Things, how you doing, man? Glad you're here. He says, I just got out of FF. I had a lot of fun. I loved Herbie's different cassette tapes for different missions. Yes. And I agree, man. Again, that's reasonable. He says just a fun detail that stood out for him. Yeah. It reminded me of, it wasn't Simon, and I'm not thinking, and not Teddy Ruxpin. I forget the robot from the 80s that was like kind of a toy, and it had cassettes. I know Teddy Ruxpin had cassettes in him too, but I seem to remember there was like a little computer robot that looked very fun and silly. And you could play cassettes and everything. Hi. But I don't remember what the name of the toy was. So, all right, there you go. That's more than enough, unless somebody else very quickly wants to chime in. We can wrap things up. I loved it, kids. I really, really loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the team was well represented. Gold stars for all the cast, and I really enjoyed this movie very, very much. Was there something called ROB for the Nintendo system? There might have been, but that's not what I think of. No, I'm thinking of like a little robot that looked like Herbie, very much different enough, but in that same aesthetic and everything. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, but I don't remember. Whatever. That's what happens when you get old, kids. It happens to all of us. Don't sweat it. Update on Word Balloon. You'll tomorrow, along with this review, get an Al Milgrom Part 1 because he had to go to dinner. While we were talking, he's like, listen, my wife wants me to go to dinner. Can we continue this tomorrow? I'm like, absolutely. So along with this, you'll get part 1 of Al Milgrom on the audio side tomorrow, and I think you'll enjoy it. Otherwise, I believe Mitch and I are talking tomorrow night about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and also maybe we'll do spoilers on FF between me and Mitch, because Mitch, I know, already saw it as well. But thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go see Fantastic Four First Steps. If you're a comic book fan, you'll adore it. If you're a general movie fan that likes your good superhero movies, you will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, please stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.